Okay, Roz. Okay. A couple of ways to get out of a trade fast. One of the fastest ways to get out of a trade is once a trade is enabled, like I just set up a breakout trade, at the top of the chart, you have the break even button. Okay. The break even button. So you can practice by setting the time to 0, right? Use a small bracket so you get filled and practice on the NQ. So I set up a practice trade with a bracket of 5, a target of 10, a target of 20, and a stop of 30. When you enable the trade immediately, before you start, spread your charts nice and wide so that you could see what's going on. So I'm going to start it over, or I'm going to close the trade. Spread your charts nice and wide. Okay, so break even button, you have to be positive. Now I'm negative, so I can't press the break even button. It won't work. If you have negative money, one of the worst fast ways to get out of a trade is just hit the close button. But the close button allows the broker to give you the worst fill. Okay. But in an emergency, if you don't know what's going on or you're confused, the close button, it gets you out of the trade. So let's go back in. Okay, the market's volatile right now, which is good for a lesson. Okay, so we're filled short, sorry, long, and I have my finger on the break even button, but it's market's going down. The other thing you could do is just practice moving your stop up. Now, if you move it too far, it goes above the price and you'll get an error. So you want to go, wait, now look, price is changing and you want to practice based on real price. So right now, we're not in a panic because the direction changed. So hit the break even button. Now you're not out of the trade, but you're safe. Your stop automatically moves to break even. Okay. You can always move your target quickly down to the price to get out. Okay. That's another way to get out quick. Trade again. Okay. So we're short, but the price is going against us long, right? We want to get out. Move your target down. Okay. Now it's positive. So forget that for a second. It was just not, these aren't perfect conditions to teach. All right, so just ignore it if it's a bad one. Okay, we're filled short. So one of the first things you want to do is be safe, right? If it's working in your favor, just get your stop to safety, okay? And you could do that by moving it manually the way I did or hit the break even button. Break even button moves your stop to safety, okay? You always can get out of a trade by moving your target towards the price, but it's better to move the stop because if the price changes direction and goes in your favor and your target's still where it originally was, you'll have a nice profit. Okay. And then another, sometimes in the trades this week, there wasn't really much you could do when there's a lot of slippage and a trade goes against you. There's just not much you can do to get out. It's just a loser. You can shrink your stop, okay? If you know the trade isn't working, just make your stop smaller. Okay, here's my stop. Make believe the trade's not working, shrink your stop. That will at least cut your risk in half if the trade goes against you. Okay, obviously, if the trade's working, you're not going to worry about it. But that's one method, shrink your stop. Okay, and that's a good way to get out of a bad trade because it cuts your risk. So you've got the break even button. You must be in a profit for the break even button to work. Otherwise, it won't move the stop because otherwise the stop is on the wrong side of the price. Okay. See the break even button? This market's a little bit kooky closing, but it's good for practicing actually. It's good for practicing. Now, there's things that are built into the software that can help you get out of a trade quickly. So let's say you think a trade's going to be very volatile and you think it's going to retrace. So if you have a two position trade, you can always use target one stop move. If the target first, now this is if a trade is profitable, at least for one target. If target one gets hit, move the stop to break even BE minus 5. That would be entry minus 5 ticks. Or you could just type minus 5. Okay. That's a quick way to get out. That's a way to move your stop quickly in a fast moving profitable trade without you having to think about it. It's automated. A lot of times I talk about what if you only want to trade one contract because you're worried or you just don't want to take the risk. You can use these two items. If the market moves X ticks, move my stop X ticks above break even. Again, that's a system if the trade is working initially. If you have one position, and you want to take, like a 50 tick target, right? And the market moves 30 ticks and then it goes against you. It's so frustrating. But you could do something like this. If the market moves 30 ticks, move my stop to break even plus 20. That way, if the direction changes, even though it didn't hit your 50 tick target, you're capturing possibly 20 ticks because you're moving your stop to break even plus 20 if the market goes 30 ticks in your favor. Okay. Just moving your stop, pressing the break even button, moving target. Those are some of the things you can practice. And remind me, and I'll talk about getting out of trades more quickly also in the trade room over the coming weeks. Okay, so this should help a little bit.